Chachi on the stage. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Chachi, as you just mentioned. I'm going to start this off with the game that's fresh in our minds, and that was a super back and forth game, but how much control did you feel you had over it?
Which game, the first or the second?
The second one.
I think we were in control this one. There were some points where we lacked a bit of control, and it was really hard to siege their turrets because I just felt like it's uncrackable, their base, because the Mazar wave clear is just insane with the Sivir, and the ricochets bouncing late game is always a threat, and we kind of lost first game because of that, so we paid special attention to it this game and just respected it and backed off.
I actually want to expand on the first game as well, because it was very clear it was just that final fight, but what went wrong in that fight specifically?
I think Veritas jumped in too soon, and he QSS'd the stun maybe, but got stunned another time, and he got insta one-shotted. And then it's 4v5. They didn't lose anything, so this fight was really hard to win, and we actually all just died. And I didn't expect them to finish at that point, but the death timers were pretty long, so.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really expected them to finish after that, but when you get out of that game, and specifically with it being game one, what do you go away during mid-series and talk about? What do you want to hear from your coach at that point?
Here we just said that we should forget this game one because it affects everyone mentally and emotionally. Really hard to lose a game like this where you are ahead, you take them 3 inhibs, and then you just suddenly lose. So we try to forget the first game and make a good draft for the second one.
Yeah, just try and reset that mindset. And you were talking about the draft right there. You're still picking up the Illaoi. Seems to be the only person who's really doing that. What's the reason for sticking with the Illaoi?
She's just a super strong champion right now. Even though I died many times, I feel like I was still ahead in CS all the time and winning the split push, so it didn't matter too much. Also, they didn't get key objectives out of those deaths. So I think it's like, you can camp her, but she still remains strong and a huge threat to your whole team.
Actually, how do you feel about the meta currently and how like Illaoi fits in that? Do you think she performs like a different role, or is it just like a different champion that fulfills the same kind of carry role as like the other champions, like Jax, for example?
She's a bit different than other champions since you can't really engage with TP flanks with her because that's like not her place to TP into the enemy team and instantly die because she's actually squishy unless she can heal up from the tentacles. So, but she's like a huge lane bully, and that's her main strength right now. You can win lane against everyone and maybe snowball the game out of there.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for the insight. I was particularly interested as an Illaoi player, but thank you very much for that. Congratulations on that win there. We're going to send it back over to the casters to close out that game.
Thank you very much, Pulse. I'm glad you finally got to talk to a pro player about Illaoi. I know you've been waiting for that forever. But while the Illaoi in game 1 was amazing and the Trundle in game 2, looking at our player of game for the second game, we got to give it to the man who seemed completely and absolutely untouched in every exchange.
Player of game.
Player of game.
Player of game. Player of game was Veritas. Yeah, he had a phenomenal performance. So especially considering that he was kind of the one that threw game 1. If we're being honest here, to bounce back from that the way he did. Had a lot of good arrows somewhere, you know, a couple of field goals in there, but then he was just untouched in his fights, and he wasn't afraid to step into the space that was created. And I think that's really important because a lot of times, like, teams will provide so much zone for an AD carry, and then he's like, guys, I gotta be careful, you know, don't want to die here.
Yeah.
He just went in ham, you know, kept firing away, winning fights, you know, with honestly 50–60% damage done in some of the team fights.
Yeah, and good to see the team play around him like that. Good to see him have that kind of confidence. I think it says a lot for Unicorns looking towards the future. But it's time for us to take a quick break while we ready up for our match of the week between G2 and H2K. Before you go, have you ever wondered about the differences between European and Korean coaching? To find out, we asked those in the know.
Nice.
코치 스타일이 한국에서는 좀 뭔가 강압적인 느낌이 있는데 유럽은 좀 프리해서 좀 좋은 것 같아요. 제 스타일은 유럽에 잘 맞는 것 같아요.
그 한국 코치분들은 다 이렇게 뭔가 거리감이 있달까? 좀 높으신 분 같은데 여기 코치는 유럽 코치는
물론 친하게는 지내는데 그거랑 약간 다른 느낌?
또 옛날에는 그 옛날 감독님 뭐 이거 하고 싶다 하면은 하긴 했는데 이제 좀 뭐라 해야 되지 대세픽이 아니거나 그러면 이제 조금 못 하게 됩니다. 저희 영복 코치 같은 경우는 이제 선수들이 하고 싶은 거 다 하게 하고 너 이거 해라 이런 거 다 하게 하고 이제 선수를 좀 믿는다고 해야 되나 좀 그런 게.
일단 인게임은 한국 코치분들이 조금 더 잘 하시지만 이거 게임 외적인 부분에서는 더 같이 많은 시간 보내는
영버 코치는 좀 친근하게 대해주면서 좀 플레이어들한테 의견을 먼저 물어보고 그 다음에 계속 말해보고 그리고 상대가 뭐 하는지 체크도 다 해보고
이렇게 친절하게 해주니까 되게 편하다고 해야 되나? 선수로서 되게 편해서 뭐
이건 그냥 선수 각자의 의식 차이인데 자기가 진짜 프리하게 열심히 할 수 있으면 유럽 스타일 진짜 가장 좋은 것 같은 제 생각.
그냥 평소에는 즐겁게 지내는 게 좋잖아요. 근데 막 이런 스크림이나 대회 때는 좀 진중한 모습, 약간 그런 갭.
코치라고 해서 뭐 다 자기 뭐 게임 방면이나 그런 거 혼자 사는 게 아니라 팀원들이랑 같이 다 맞춰서 하는 거니까 코치도 그러니까 선수들이 같이 만들어가. 그러니까 같이 이제 코치로서 막 혼자가 아니라 선수랑 같이 하는 거라서 선수 같은 좀 뭐라 해야 되지? 5명이서 하는 게 아니라 6명이서 이제 코치랑 같이 이렇게 그런 게 되게 좋은 것 같아요.